let's jump right into this. I just want to get your response to what Infiltration had to say about Capcom Cup 2016 and how it went down.
Okay. Yeah. So I did get a chance to see the video and his responses and stuff. And so what's interesting about all this is that um, we kind of got into producing the day one like
Mm-hmm.
pretty late. It wasn't just like, oh, hey, early 2016, hey, you guys want to produce Capcom Cup day one and
Right.
where it's at and all that stuff, right? And the formats, right? Like
Yep.
initially, the format was 2 out of 3, all the way up to like top 16 and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. And the players weren't so happy about it. You know, the feedback was out there, and here we are, just trying to be the neutral voice of like suggesting stuff to Capcom
Mm-hmm.
and then trying to tie it into the presentation, right?
Yeah.
And so we're putting all of this, and hey, you're streaming day one. Oh, you have an opportunity to stream day one. You want to do it? Sure, of course. I'm working with Jimmy. Jimmy Wynn from Level Up. He's the go-to guy. He's the main organizer. He's a head honcho when it comes to putting all these pieces together.
Right.
I help facilitate the community side of it, to get the language out there because I speak to gamers language, right?
Right.
And it's true. Like we knew internally, we knew that the players were going to be pissed off once they play 3 out of 5 the entire way. Like inside, we're going like, the players want 3 out of 5. If they want to stay in the venue till midnight or whatnot, it's not like we can't do it. We just want to
Right.
have peace of mind for the players, because we know this is like the biggest event for them. This is what we're celebrating, the end of the Street Fighter circuit, the Capcom Cup, and they want 3 out of 5. Let's give it to them, right?
Right.
And we had to stream every single match because they didn't want to, or at least from the feedback from last year,
Mm-hmm.
it's too hard to watch. You don't want to miss a thing. All right, you don't want 2 streams and then you're kind of like, oh, I see Punko on one side and then I see Daigo on one side. Who do I watch and what's going on? And it's no real easy answer for that. So stuck with one stream, 3 out of 5. There was structuring of the lunch breaks too for the players. There was a green room for them to practice privately.
Right.
It's not like they weren't taken care of. So I think what he said that the players weren't taken care of, I think that's absolutely false. They got their hotel, they got their transportation, they got their swag, they got their private room, their VIP room, and I was pretty much there, kind of holding their hand to make sure that they played on time
Yeah.
to prepare them for these matches, right? So in a way, it's kind of like you kind of asked for it. You want 3 out of 5? We'll give it to you, right? If you guys didn't want 3 out of 5, but you just rolled with what the community's saying, well, now you learned your lesson. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, from the production standpoint, like, our team did what was presented, and we're trying to appease partly for the community, another for like the sanity of the squad, trying to stay up. We worked like 15-hour days to
Yeah.
make sure that thing was dialed in.
I think it's fair for everyone. It's fair to criticize, right? Like I don't think that he was out of line. Infiltration was out of line
No,
with his comments.
not at all.
I understand. Luffy had similar complaints, like having to wait so long between matches. That's probably because he went deeper in the tournament. I mean, to be fair.
Here, let me tell you, man. Like, these guys weren't ready to play arcade tournaments that lasted 4 to 5 in the morning, right?
Yeah.
They don't know about those old struggles, right? And people, I know you guys. Okay, like I know everybody's like, oh, here goes Valle with this back in
Yeah.
the day rant. Well, look, let me tell you, you're trying to, you know, complement both sides. It's a two-way
Right.
street here, guys. It's a two-way street. You got, production, the internal side. You got the community side. You know, we can only work with so much here, right? And I can't speak for Capcom. I can just speak for like what the jobs that we're given and
Sure.
what we can help with, right? So and we try to work with what's best. I mean, I know the community is asked for a lot, and they ask for the world, right? And then as long as we can get some crumbs in, I mean, here it is, right? Because we never had these crumbs before, never.
Yeah.
And now we got it, and now that we have it, let's kind of work our way to get that loaf of bread.
I'm glad you brought that up because I
Yeah.
think that this pertains to not just Capcom Cup, Capcom Pro Tour, but also Street Fighter Five. We just I just put out a video where I talked about are we complaining too much, specifically for Street Fighter Five, but I think as a whole, whether it doesn't matter what game it is, I feel like there's a lot of noise out there, and I'm all about look. Yes, you should criticize. You can make your comments whatever, but I do feel like we're getting to a point where there's just so much noise out there, and it's hard to sort of sift through that and get an idea of what either Street Fighter Five or the Capcom Pro Tour really needs, what Capcom should be looking at. I mean, is that fair? Do you feel like we're complaining too much? Do you feel like there's too much noise, or do you feel like we need more people like Infiltration speaking up so that they can put that sort of criticism out there and we can pay attention to that, or you can pay attention to that?
Well, let me tell you this. We've been in the internet age, right? It's
Right.
easy to complain,
Mm.
to keep complaining, and eventually you'll kind of like get your way. Sure. But let me tell you, as an adult, once you start voicing your opinions like that, you're held accountable for what you're
Right.
saying. Bring
Are we
on
too
the
sensitive?
complaints. No, yeah, dude. I mean, some of these stuff you guys got to man up. I mean, you guys got to freaking man up.
Do
Yeah.
you think this is a byproduct of esports? Everyone's so focused on Street Fighter Five and Capcom Pro Tour, right? I think there's a lot of people that actually play this game that there's a lot of people that play this game and hate on it, but I think deep down they like it, right? They may not want to admit it, but I think deep down they do. But I do believe that there's a lot of people that play this game that don't necessarily care for it. They just play it because they see it as a way like I can, be successful or make money, whatever. You think some of this is a byproduct of that esports era that we're in right now?
When it comes down to it, people want to play the most popular game. Just
Right.
plain simple. All right. And that's how it's always been. And arcade era, it was a crowd on Street Fighter, and then there was like a couple people on other games. What game are you going to play? All right. You want to play
Right.
the game that's popular. And that's what it is. And yeah, even though it has like a lot of money into it, um, less than 0.000000001% of the population would even have a chance at the cash, right?
Right.
So it's there's got to be a reason, that they play, and deep down inside, they just want to play the popular game.
Right.
And the guys that the intermediates to like the top players, yeah, they can say, oh yeah, I'm just playing this for the money. Well, now because you're good.
Yeah, I had an interesting short conversation with, I'm sure you know him, Gerald Abraham. Shout out to Okamoto Kitchen.
Hmm.
And he actually, he's a longtime competitor, just like yourself.
Sure.
And he actually said something that kind of surprised me a little bit. He was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I wish back in the day we had esports like, like we do now back then."
Back then, we'd have a lot more personalities because everything back then was very territorial. You
Yeah.
go to California, we defend California,
Right.
right? We go out of California, we take their money, we take their pride, we do it, right? We come in and it's rowdy, the environment's different. We would have a lot more. Man, I'm not saying that we don't have some of that stuff today, but just back then it was just that age of discovery. All right, like who are the best players in certain
Right.
regions, and then let's take that away from them. That's how it was. It was very hostile. I mean, you can see old footage of like the Marvel era, where
Yeah.
that was, man, the birth of hype. I mean, Street Fighter had hype, but Marvel takes the cake on that one, man. And
Yeah.
if we had esports back then, like, and it forced players to act a certain way, I think after a while the companies would say, you know what, we should just let them rock, man, because there's no other genre. There's no other genre that's like this, right? It's like you have 3 to 5 minute matches and we get hype every single minute versus like the other games that take some time to build up that hype, right? You have to tell stories, got to get all this analytical stuff, and like a lot of people
Yeah.
don't, I mean, a lot of people don't have time
So,
for that. They just want to see
so,
beatdowns, you know what I mean?
so would we be teabagging and taunting back then? Like,
Oh,
what,
that
like,
would be the bare minimum. The bare minimum of what the FGC would do. I mean, oh gosh, there's so many antics. I mean, of players, and oh yeah, you can see some of us our old stuff in the videos, man.
yeah.
Uh, I'll let you guys dig.
Like, where are we going with this? Have we gone too far? Are we too sanitized? What's going on here?
Some of the greatest taunts in history have been around, like Filipino Champ has been doing that stuff in like championship gaming, and all that did, and people know his persona, all that did
Yeah.
was just make that match more exciting. You would have more eyeballs, more excitement for stuff that's done on the fly. These guys are playing for thousands and thousands of dollars, and they're
Yeah.
doing that mid match. Okay, so Knuckle do, right? So he's coming in to Wednesday night fights. He's swinging his chair around, kicking his legs, and he's just bodying everybody, right? Putting his shades on, taking them off. He don't care. That dude won a $250,000,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So what is anybody harmed from any of this stuff? Should we put a disclaimer?
I
Hey,
mean, there might be a couple guys out there psychologically that might be a little damaged. I feel like, Knuckle
oh
Dudes
wow.
cause some damage, but again, is that like, are they too frail for this then at this point?
You know what would cause more damage if you got like double perfected, man.
Well,
And then we would have to have like some
that
kind of a,
that might have happened to me one time, but it was a Capcom Cup champion. I'm just saying.
one time.
I don't want to end this on like a negative note. I feel like, despite what we've been talking about, I don't want everyone to think that like, oh, they're only talking about the bad stuff, right? What can Capcom, what can players collectively, the community, what can they do to sort of foster a more positive attitude, a more positive community sort of moving forward?
The players should, really just embrace the things that are happening, because it's much more than Street Fighter at work here. It's the
Yeah.
people. If you're constantly bringing negativity to this stuff, it you going to a tournament negative and that experience, nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Right? So we're trying to figure out a way that we still have a welcoming community, welcoming events, right, before the game is fully fixed, right, or whatever else needs to be added on. So you know just hold on. There's more characters. I'm actually super excited for the new characters coming out, because as you can see, I've been playing like Rashid and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
want to play new characters. I've been playing
Yeah. I
Ryu.
heard Alex got a jury.
Yeah, a Jury. I've been playing Jury, and I've been
Yeah.
playing the older Street Fighter character for so long. I'm looking for my fun, just like you guys are. And to get there, just have an open mind.
Yeah.
I play various fighting games. I've been through the brokenness. I'm telling you right now, as if you now, I know you saw the Cooperation Cup Third Strike, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Believe me, you do not want those type of OP characters in Street Fighter
Right.
5. You don't want them. And if you say you do, you're just living in that little 0.0001% of the elite players that can deal with it. Okay? Because the consensus today, you guys would not last.
Yeah.
You guys will not last a pre-Street Fighter 4 game. You guys would just like say, how the hell do you get out of this? This is bullcrap. I can't get up. This is unblockable. There's no way out of this. Why can't I move? How come your character is plus on everything? Well, every character is plus on everything back in the game. But yeah, man, please keep voicing his opinions, and just hold on, man. Hold on to your seats, because I think there's some more stuff coming.
Bye. Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you throughout the year, of course. I know I'm sure you're working on big things. You got Wednesday night fights, of course. SoCal regionals. I'm assuming will take place once more in 2017. And of course, Capcom Pro Tour, we haven't even started yet. So looking forward to seeing everything that takes place with Street Fighter V, Capcom, and of course yourself. Thanks for the talk, man.
Yeah, anytime, brother. Anytime.